the first time I realized my husband had chosen another woman over me. I was standing at the departure gate with our honeymoon tickets in my hand, not a year into our marriage, not after some dramatic fight. It was 48 hours after our wedding. I remember staring at the departure screen at Denver International Airport, watching our flight to Maui flash beneath a bright blue Hawaiian Airlines logo. I'd spent months planning that trip. I'd picked the little oceanfront cottage, booked a sunset sail, and even reserved the restaurant where my parents had celebrated their anniversary 20 years earlier. Then Daniel looked at his phone and said, almost casually, "There's been a change." I smiled, thinking maybe our flight had been delayed. Instead, he said, "Claire's coming with us." For a second, I honestly didn't understand. Claire, my secretary. He said it like that explained everything. I stared at him. "You invited your secretary on our honeymoon." Daniel sighed. That sigh, I'd heard it hundreds of times over the past year. The sound he made whenever he wanted me to feel unreasonable for asking a perfectly normal question. "She needs to be there for the Carson account," he said. "It's business. You'll still have me." I looked past him, and there she was. Claire stood near the window with a small black suitcase beside her. She was dressed for vacation. No laptop bag, no folders, no business attire, and around her wrist was the gold bracelet Daniel had told me he'd ordered for his sister. My stomach tightened. Then Claire noticed me looking. She smiled, not an apologetic smile, a knowing one. Daniel reached for her suitcase. That was the moment something inside me went completely quiet. He thought I was going to argue. He thought I was going to cry. He thought I would board that plane because I was his wife and because I had spent months making his perfect honeymoon possible. He had no idea I was about to make one phone call that would change the entire trip and eventually change everything. He thought he knew about me. By the time we reached the gate, I had stopped asking myself whether my husband was serious. He was. Daniel stood beside me, scrolling through his phone like this was any other Tuesday morning. His carry-on was at his feet, and our boarding passes were tucked into the passport holder. I'd bought him 2 Christmases ago. Then his phone buzzed. He glanced at the screen and smiled. Not the polite smile he used with clients, a private one. "Is that her?" I asked. His expression hardened. Claire, his secretary, the woman whose name had started appearing on his phone at midnight, then somehow became part of almost every conversation we had. "She's already at the airport," he said. My stomach dropped. "Why?" Daniel finally looked at me. "She's coming to Denver." I stared at him. Our honeymoon was supposed to be a week in Colorado, a quiet cabin outside Aspen. No work, no phones, just us. Or at least that's what I thought. "She's not staying with us," he added quickly. "She has business nearby." I almost laughed. Business? Why are you making this into something? That question told me more than his answer. He wasn't confused. He was annoyed, as if my reaction was the problem. Then I saw Claire. She was standing near the windows about 30 feet away, wearing a camel-colored coat and holding a small black suitcase. She looked completely comfortable, too comfortable. And when Daniel saw her, he instinctively straightened his jacket. I noticed. He noticed me noticing. "Don't start," he muttered. I looked down at my wedding ring. We'd been married for 11 days. 11. And somehow I was already standing in an airport watching my husband choose another woman over the trip we'd planned for months. Claire walked toward us. "Daniel," she said softly. Then she looked at me. "Oh, you're still coming? Still coming?" The word hit me harder than it should have. Daniel stepped between us. "Of course she is." Claire smiled. "Good." Then she handed him a folder. "Everything you asked for." Daniel opened it immediately. I watched his face change as he read the first page. He went pale. "What is this?" I asked. "Nothing," he said. But Claire's eyes flicked toward me. For just a second, I saw fear, not guilt. Fear. And that's when I realized something. Claire hadn't come to ruin my honeymoon. She had come because she knew something about my husband that I didn't. And whatever was inside that folder was the reason. Daniel had been so desperate to get me on that plane. I didn't answer his call. Instead, I walked into the airport restroom, locked the door behind me, and finally let myself breathe. My reflection looked almost normal. That was the strangest part. No screaming, no tears, no shaking hands. Just me, standing there in the white dress I'd chosen for our honeymoon, staring at a woman who suddenly understood that something was very wrong. My phone buzzed again. Daniel. Then another message appeared. Please don't make this a bigger deal than it is. I almost laughed. A bigger deal. He'd chosen his secretary over me on the morning after our wedding. And somehow, I was the one creating the problem. Then another message came through. Amanda, I'm really sorry about what happened. Daniel said you understood. I froze. You understood? Understood what? I reread the message 3 times. Then I noticed something underneath it, a photo. It was a screenshot of a hotel reservation. 2 names were listed on the booking, Daniel Carter, Amanda Reed. My husband and his secretary, same suite, same dates. And the reservation had been made 6 weeks before our wedding. My stomach dropped. So this hadn't happened because of some last-minute business emergency. He'd planned it. But there was something even worse. The hotel wasn't in Hawaii. It was in Aspen, Colorado, a private resort I'd never heard of. And the reservation wasn't for 4 days. It was for 9. I sat down on the bathroom counter, staring at the screen. 9 days. 9 days he'd apparently planned to spend with another woman while expecting me to believe I was still going on our honeymoon. Then I saw the payment method. My credit card. That's when I stopped feeling hurt. I started feeling angry. Because Daniel hadn't just betrayed my marriage, he'd been using me to pay for it. I took a screenshot of the reservation and sent it to myself. Then I forwarded it to my sister Claire. She called immediately. Where are you? JFK. There was a pause. Is Daniel with you? No. He's already at the gate. And Amanda? I looked through the restroom door. I think she's on the plane. Claire went quiet. Then she asked the question I wasn't ready for. Do you want me to come get you? I looked down at my wedding ring. 24 hours earlier, I'd believed this ring meant I had finally found the person who would stand beside me for the rest of my life. Now it felt like evidence. No, I said. I need to do something first. I opened my banking app. The $8,700 hotel charge was there. So were 2 restaurant charges from Aspen, a luxury car rental, a ski resort deposit, all made before our wedding. Daniel had been planning this trip while planning our marriage. My hands started trembling. Then I noticed something I hadn't seen before. The hotel reservation had been modified twice. The first version listed Amanda Reed as Daniel's guest. The second version listed D. Carter +1. Someone had deliberately removed her name. Why? I opened the hotel email again and zoomed in on the confirmation. At the bottom was a note from the resort. VIP arrival arranged by Mr. Carter. Private entrance requested. My heart sank. He hadn't just wanted privacy. He'd expected to hide her. I called the hotel. A woman answered. I gave her the confirmation number and said, I believe there's been a mistake with this reservation. She checked the system. Then her voice changed. Ma'am, are you Mrs. Carter? Yes. Another pause. I'm sorry. I thought you were traveling with Mr. Carter. Who else is listed? She hesitated. Then said quietly, there are 2 guests registered for the suite. I closed my eyes. Names. She read them. Daniel Carter and Amanda Reed. I hung up, and for the first time that morning, I knew exactly what I was going to do. I walked out of the restroom with one decision already made. I wasn't getting on that plane, but I wasn't going to tell Daniel why not yet. I found an airport agent and quietly asked if I could change my ticket to a later flight. She checked the system and gave me several options. There's a flight to Seattle leaving in 3 hours. Book it. She looked at my luggage. Are you checking these? No, I'm traveling light. That wasn't entirely true. I was leaving behind almost everything I'd packed for our honeymoon. The dresses, the shoes, the little gifts I'd bought for Daniel, even the handwritten itinerary I'd spent weeks planning. I kept one small bag and my wedding ring. I wasn't ready to take it off. As I walked away from the counter, my phone buzzed again. Daniel, we're boarding. Where are you? I stared at the message. Then I typed, I'm not coming. 3 dots appeared immediately. Daniel, what does that mean? I didn't answer. Another message. Daniel, don't do this right now. Amanda is only coming because I need help with work. I almost replied. Instead, I opened the hotel confirmation and forwarded it to him. Nothing else. For nearly a minute, there was no response. Then my phone rang. I let it ring. It stopped, then rang again. I ignored it. Finally, a message appeared. Daniel, who gave you that? That question told me everything. Not what reservation. Not why are you upset. Not there's an explanation. Just, who gave you that? I slipped the phone into my bag. The boarding announcement for my new flight echoed through the terminal. As I walked toward the gate, I passed the window overlooking the runway. Daniel's plane was still there. For one brief moment, I imagined running back. I imagined demanding an explanation. I imagined him choosing me. Then I remembered the reservation, 6 weeks old, paid with my card. 2 names, 9 nights. I kept walking. He thought I'd simply abandoned our honeymoon. He had no idea I'd already discovered something else, hidden in our joint account, that made the Aspen reservation look almost harmless. And by the time Daniel realized what I'd found, I would already be gone.